What's up, everybody? It's time for another Gaming News Weekly video game review. This week we're talking about Peridot, the brand new mobile game from Niantic, the AR style game that has just come out. It's no Pokemon Go. It's a whole new type of thing. We're going to talk all about it. I'm Erect the Red, joined by Full Clip. You ready to talk Peridot?
Ready.
All right, so we were both really excited when this was announced, just because it looks cute. It looks different. I mean, I don't know how excited we were, but there was some excitement, you know?
Well, I'm always excited for these AR games if they're going to be done well. And when you think of AR games, it's kind of synonymous with Niantic, of course, who created Pokemon Go and some, less successful titles as well.
Yes, a lot of misses. One giant hit, but we'll let you know soon if this is a hit or a miss. But basically what it is, it's like it's your own virtual pet, basically. Tamagotchi style thing that you have on your phone. It lives in your AR world, and you got to feed it and play with it, and it's gonna, you teach it tricks, and then it'll grow from a tiny little baby into an adult, which at that point you can then breed it with other Peridots out in the world to create offspring, different versions of your offspring. So that's basically the game in a nutshell. And what's nice about it is that, like, you can totally neglect your Peridot for like a few days and it's not going to die like your Tamagotchi might. So that's good. It'll just tell you that it's, bored or hungry or whatever. So let me hear your thoughts on it from when you first downloaded it until where you're at right now.
Yeah. Okay, so all the things that I knew would be part of the game, I'm very happy with. It's the new experience of a Tamagotchi. Did you grow up with the Tamagotchi?
I did. I always forgot about them, so it was not a good experience.
Yeah. Well, it might be better than this, because at least when your Tamagotchi dies, you can get a new one. You have more gameplay. Mm-hmm. And the problem that I'm seeing long-term for this game, if you're like very young or not really into the gameplay part of the game and continuing on and making progress, and you are just happy having a pet simulator, then it's going to be great. But the long term of the game is laid out that you need to find all the archetypes, continue to breed. But this being Niantic and all the heat they've been getting in lately with Pokemon Go for the microtransactions, it's definitely present here too. You need to pay $5 for a nest, and the nest is the only way you're going to breed. You get the first one for free. So we both had our original Peridot, hatched it, grew it to an adult, bred it with another, and then you get to sort of start that process over. And you can switch back and forth at any time. The problem right now is nothing can really happen from there without paying a minimum of $5 or whatever the deal is. And that's going to be a big problem.
Now, is there any way to get a nest outside of paying for it?
Not that I know of. What I've seen from reviews, people were saying that in the beta stage, they could do a lot more breeding. There were other ways to get it. But now, I think even with the gems that you earn in-game, like the premium in-game earned currency, I don't think you can even buy them with those.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I even looked ahead. So, like, every day there's a, you get your daily gift or whatever. And I was like, man, at some point, day 30, day 50, day 100, they're going to give you one of these nests. But no, they don't.
Yeah.
They are definitely not in there. And that you're right. That is definitely an issue long term. I think short term, the game, it's very cute. My son loves it. He loves playing with his little pet. The AR is done very well. The way that, sometimes the little guy will get trapped like underneath something or whatever, but like
there's hiccups.
But for the most part, it works really great as far as like, if you want it to forage for food on a surface, like you just circle it and then it'll, go underneath that surface and find something in different surfaces. He'll bring up different items, so I think that's interesting. When you play fetch, you throw a ball and it bounces off of the floor, bounces off of the wall, so it works fairly well as far as the AR goes. My biggest issue with it is that I find it to be very confusing as to how it works. There's really not any straight up explanation. Like, I didn't know how to hatch a new Peridot for the longest time. I actually had to go and look it up, and I had to see that you have to, you have to go to where there's other Peridots, and if there's some near you, you can then message them and get their consent, which is a good thing. You always want consent
Yes.
before breeding. And then it links you up to like a message board or like a chat room type thing where they can then send you a link to their dot, and then you could choose to, breed with that Peridot. So I thought that was really strange. I didn't know like that I needed to go through this whole message board thing. And for kids, like, if you put in your birthday and you're under a certain age, it doesn't give you options to do that. You can't even do that. So you have to be above a certain age so you could reach out to these strangers and have them, and even that, like, it's a little weird, like you reach out to a stranger and say, hey, I want my tiny computer pet to have sex with your tiny computer pet to make another little tiny computer pet that for me. So it's a weird thing that I was like, talking to, Steven 2130 up the street because I thought his Peridot had a really cool tail. And I'm like, I'm digging that tail. Let me get up in that. So it's strange. It's strange. It's confusing how it works. It's not simple like Pokemon Go or any of the other ones previously,
Yeah, and I like that part a lot about the breeding. It's been a running joke because I'm always into these games that are like that. And this really reminds me of this game called Derby Days, where you had all these horses, and you could almost have like breed unlimited horses. Just took a lot of time to do it. But you'd find other people. You'd see, oh wow, your horse has the rainbow wings. I want to breed my horse with your horse to see if I can get that feature out of it. And that's how this game works with the breeding.
Yes.
And they have all these archetypes laid out. So maybe yours has like the body of a ram or a dog, or different parts of different things meshed together, different colors, different features like that you're trying to get by breeding. And I was also thoroughly impressed by the AR in this. Yeah, with the ball, if you throw it at a box in front of you, it's going to bounce off the box, not just go through it. It seems to have some idea of 3 dimensions when you're talking about the environment around you. And also, let's see, it has some sort of like recognition built in there. So it not only knows when you're looking at a wooden surface or grass or water, like the elements, because that's going to change the kind of things you can scavenge for. It asks you, hey, your Peridot wants to look at a dog or a cat. It wants to look at a person. It wants to look at a tree trunk, a flower. And you need to point your camera at one of those things in order to fulfill that need for the day and get a little bit of growth out of it.
Yeah, I thought that was cool when it was like, it wants to look at a dog or a cat, and then you put it in front of your dog or cat, and then it's like, it just smelled your dog's butt or whatever. And I was like, oh, interesting. It was cool. But yeah, it really, I like that's like the different tasks that you have. You have daily, weekly quests, and yeah, it's like forage on dirt, forage on grass. My son instantly was trying to break it. It was like forage on like water to get this. He would like took it to the bathroom and was like aiming it in the toilet to try to get like the water.
Yeah.
To
you told me about that, and I thought that's genius.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, it was smart. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know like long term, like what's going to be next for this. If you just want this pet, like sure you do the daily tasks and you earn all these things, and it'll you'll unlock more traits. I think that is what you unlock as your level grows and stuff, right?
The ability to get those traits.
Not for your Peridot. Yeah. So like some of them are locked right now, and then at some point then you could breed and possibly have those traits on your new Peridot. So yeah, there's a lot of what ifs and possibilities of what it's going to be, but yeah, I don't know what you unlock as your level grows as you play it more, and what it will unlock. I would imagine if this is successful that Niantic will they'll add a bunch of stuff, and hopefully they'll get some feedback and make it easier to, because the whole crux of the game, the whole point of the game is this breeding, is to create more Peridots, and they're all everyone's 100% different, and But when you ask someone to pay $5 to just to have a second, third, fourth, fifth of what is basically the same thing, like at that point, it's like, really, I'm paying $5 to just have another one of these that looks slightly different than this other one that does the exact same thing. It's still going to forage the same way. It's still going to learn all the same tricks. It's not doing anything different other than it just looks a little different.
Yeah.
You know?
And so there's where it starts to feel long term like you just got a glorified Tamagotchi that doesn't die. So there's no restarting. It's just you can maybe switch back and forth between your two, and they just kind of infinitely keep gaining these points, which don't do anything for them or for you other than raising your trainer level so you can get these traits, hypothetically, if you were to pay $5. So, I mean, I have a suggestion for how they should continue forward with this, because the truth of the matter is nobody's going to be buying these nests the way that they want them to. So they have to change that process. It can't be $5 to breed. So what I suggest that they do instead is have sort of a stable feature where you have slots. Say they start you with 3 slots, and if you've bred getting these nests through, you know, like you said, maybe it's your day 15 and your day 30 reward is another nest, and they start to like very rarely drop. So once you do have one, it's a bit of an event, and you're like, cool, now I can breed. But then you're faced with the dilemma of, I have all 3 of my slots full. Which one of these Peridots am I willing to give up? So for the casual player, they're going to have to, you know, stay there with their 3 and juggle back and forth, and maybe they're really attached to their first Peridot and they want to keep it around. But for other people, having the ability to increase that, I would pay maybe $5 to have a 4th slot, a 5th slot, up to 99 slots. I mean, that's a lot of money that Niantic can rack in through that system. It's great for people who want to play casually. It's great for people who want to enhance their play with a little bit of money.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, and I agree. Like, I think that should be the way to go. Even with Pokemon Go, which is like their most profitable game, like same thing. Like you had your incubators and your eggs and stuff like that. You know, they give you a lot of that stuff. You can pay to have more, but you don't have to. You know, and there's enough people out there that will pay to have, you know, 50 slots. You know, like, if this is what they're focusing on, if this is their game, then yeah, just that's great. But also, yes, make it for the casual people to enjoy it as well, instead of just having the 2 that we have. There's got to be, because even now, like, we'll come across like my son will be like, "Whoa, look at this one's got really cool wings or whatever," and I'm like, yeah, but you know, $5 to maybe get another character that maybe has wings or whatever, like, not right now, but we'll see. So yeah, Peridot. I think it's, you know, I think it's a good game. I think it's fun for what it is. Definitely has its flaws, and right now, one of those major flaws is the cost. So yeah,
a lot of potential. I hope they don't make this flop through, you know, these methods of microtransactions.
Yeah. But yeah, it's enjoyable. Go check it out. Peridot. I think we both recommend it. You know, you don't have to spend money. You can get your 2 Peridots for free and just have those. And it's definitely worth it to have those. But yeah, going forward, yeah, you're going to want more. So, but yeah, we recommend it, right?
Yeah.
I'd say so. It's free, iOS, Android. Go check it out. Peridot. Let us know what you thought. Send us a picture of your Peridot. Mine is very shiny. It's one of those shiny ones.
Oh,
yeah.
I almost went with like the color shifting one. That was one of my first egg options. Yeah. I went with like a furry pink and blue. So after I bred that, I kept that, named it Bubblegum. The rest is history.
I like it. Oh man, I can't wait until our Peridots can meet one day. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then maybe make sweet, sweet love and pop out a new Peridot for the world to see. But all right, thanks for checking out this episode of Gaming News Weekly Video Game Review. Check out our show, Gaming News Weekly, every Monday on YouTube, Fruit Lab, and podcasts. And yeah, we'll be back with more video game reviews in the very near future. Thanks a lot.